He's also a very good artist. I'm going to read you 3 short poems today, and then, just for the heck of it, we're going to write our own poems, minimum of 5 lines, okay? But it can be any way you want to write it. It can be whether you just want to write 5 lines of very unpoetic poem lines or anything else, okay? The first book or poetry can go as is A Dream Within a Dream. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me know. You are not wrong, who deem that many days have been a dream, yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it there, the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surface tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers into the deep. While I weep, oh God, I cannot grasp them with a tender clasp. Oh God, I cannot say one from the bliss wave. Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream. The next one is called The Sleeper. At midnight in the month of June, I stand beneath the mystic moon. An opaque vapor, dewy, dim, exhales from out her golden rim, and softly dripping, drop by drop, upon the quiet mountain top, steals drowsy and musically into the universal. The rosemary nods upon the grave, the lilies bald upon the wave, wrapping the fall upon its breast, the ruin moulders into rest, looking like leaf, sea, a lake, a conscious slumber seems to take, and when not for the world awake, all beauty sleeps, and lo, where lies Irene with her destinies. O lady bright, can it be right, this window upon the night? 2 woman airs from the treetop, laughing through the latest drop. The bodiless airs a wizard right, flit through the day thy chamber in and out, and wave thy curtain canopy so fitfully, so fearfully, upon the closed and frigid lid, beneath which thy slumbering soul lies hid. And o'er the floor and down the wall, like ghosts the shadows rise and fall. O lady dear, how's that no fear? Why or what art thou dreaming here? Sure that art come, O far off seas, a wonder to these garden trees. Stranger is thy pomp, stranger thy dress, strange above all thy length of trees, and this also silence is. Okay. The final one is called El Dorado. Gaily bedight, a gallant knight, in sunshine and in shadow, had journeyed long, singing a song in search of El Dorado. But he grew old, this knight so bold, and oh, his heart a shudder fell as he found which a spot of ground looked like El Dorado. And as his strength failed him at length, he met a pilgrim's shadow. Shadow, he said, where can it be, this land of El Dorado? Over the mountain, of the moon, down the valley of shadow, ride boldly proud, this the shade shadow, if you seek for El Dorado. Okay. Thank you all for that. Okay, next Next, I would actually ask all of you to take out a blank sheet of paper. Yes, if you could, please just turn on one of the lights. Would you prefer just one light on or both of them? Both?
Oh, no.
One. Okay. Now, how many of you here have actually written, like, done a little bit of poetry before? Still written poetry. I admit it's never been the best circumstances for some, but well, this is just going to be freeing. There's no structure. You don't have to follow anything. I just want you to have a minimum of 5 lines. That's all. Write about how you feel, any subject you want, and just for 10 to 15 minutes, okay?
Does it have to be about Halloween? Or what?
It doesn't have to be about Halloween. It can be about anything you want, anything you feel.
Does it have?
That will be actually up to Miss Humphrey.
No.
Will we be turning these poems in or
No,
not?
please.
Let's say just for completion.
Okay.
Okay.
Quality.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, fair enough.
For
completion. After the writing, we can share them if you want. You'll be volunteer, but you don't have to. Okay? So, huh?
Just like try to haiku. I'm not good at
It's a form of poetry. Sure. I said you can write any way
Wait,
you
is the
want.
haiku 3, 5?
no, it's 5, 7, 5, but that's only 3, so we have to write 2 haikus?
Tell you what, you did bring up a good point there, so we'll make, if you're writing a haiku, it's just 3, but that's only for haiku, okay? Otherwise, you have to write at least minimum 5 lines. It doesn't have to rhyme, it doesn't have to be soundly poetic in any way. Just
So shouldn't we have to write 2 haikus, so that way it'll be 6 lines?
No, you just said that if you're writing a haiku, it
Yeah, I know. Isn't haiku 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5?
Yeah.
5, 7, 5. So I'm gonna just write 2 haikus.
okay, if that's what you want. But you have 10 to 15 minutes to write this, so I don't want to ask you to rush it or hurry, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Miss Humphrey, what are you doing with your other classes?
They're sharing projects, but you can keep sharing it.
Okay.
What is galore mean? Like GALORE?
It usually means like a vast amount, like a series of. If you're writing a haiku, yes. But it's only for an haiku, okay?
What?
But it's only for an a haiku. Otherwise, minimum of 5 lines, okay? guys already done, or?
Yes.
No.
And can I ask those that are done to please not disrupt the guys, people that are done, okay? Everyone done? Judging by the looks of it, everyone's done?
Yep.
Okay then, who would like to share?
I'll share.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay,
No.
Brother, come on up here and sit up and share.
Oh.
I want you to say your creepy one.
That way everyone can
Who's
actually
your
hear you.
bow?
Yeah, share your creepy
Read
one.
all
Who's
of
your
them.
bow? My friends.
If you have multiples, you can read all of them, or you can just read your personal favorite, whichever one it
I'm
is.
scared.
There once was a boy named David. He really liked fried chicken. He was tall and lean, very fast and playful. His chicken was undercooked. There once was a boy. Snap, everybody. There once was a boy
Someone-
named
yeah,
Vincent. He got very tall and started to bawl. He wanted a tree for Christmas Eve. St. Nick got Vince a gift.
Can Gabby read hers? She wants to.
You want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Read both.
Read both.
Okay. Tonight is a spook. The howling wind creeps upon. Beware of the ghost. The dead's out to kill. The creepers want blood. You will never be saved.
That's
Abby.
I
I believe the
No
expression
way.
is don't be alone.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was Abby's poem.
She wanted to read. She wanted Gabby to read it for her.
Okay.
Gabby's my keeper.
Do you want to share your own, or?
No.
No wrong strings, okay? Everyone's imaginative and creative. Everyone's different, everyone's unique, okay?
She should have cited my poem.
What?
I forgot.
Okay, so I have 3, but I'm only gonna read 2. First one's a hype. So, our doorbell soon rings. I open the door to see kids watching. And then the other one is, today is Halloween. Kids stomp down the street, stopping at every door. Soon they leave with candy. Only good. That was
You're
really
well
good.
poetic.
It's like a rhyme.
Come on, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Haley. Okay?
Okay, this is Vincent. Halloween is kind of a great thing. As a ghost walks through the street, as a boy watches from a window across the street, walks a widow as the meek are crossing the street.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's good. Good job, Vinny. I just do this.
Anybody else?
Another one?
Sure, go ahead. Any other you guys want to volunteer?
There once was an athlete named Jack Gordon. Settle down.
Settle down, everyone.
He was very fit and fast. His spike was too long, then too short. Jack Gordon's in every sport.
You're an athletic kid, aren't you?
No, that's not him. It's Jack Gordon.
Jack Gordon.
Wait, what was
It's the
his
famous
one
Jack
was
Gordon.
What name, Jack Gordon?
Jack
There
Gordon,
once
he's
was
in
an
Graham.
athlete named Jack
You
Athlete.
should have said alpha.
My bad. I'll change.
There's a page on Facebook for Jack
I
Gordon.
know, I
as an
like
alpha.
that.
Okay, does anybody else want to share, or?
Vinny does.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Don't be.
It's no pressure, okay?
There's pressure always.
Everyone has a choice to do something.
Read that one.
Haunted house with you. Weird monsters coming for you. Be careful. They're none. Right?
What?
Smelling pumpkins, carving them character too. The candles smell good. These are mine.
Why are you so cool?
Are these on us?
On our yours.
The last one's good.
I don't know if that works, but very creative.
Pumpkin candles rock. They fill up the room with smell. They bring us happiness. These are mine.
Those are lovely.
You guys didn't actually
Coming
sharing
for
each
you,
other's
be
poems instead of
careful
yourself.
down here.
Oh,
Okay, carry on.
Okay. Well, as the final part, they don't have to if they don't want to. Okay? As the final part, I figured we actually maybe do an open discussion on, since it's Halloween, horror. You can start off like, mainly the main question I want to bring up is, what is your definition of horror? What is fear to you or scary, and why? Hmm?
he said murder.
Murder?
He said murder.
My definition is something that, shall we say, makes an ever-lurking creep in the mind, that creates a subliminal paranoia that you can never be at rest.
Haunts you.
Something that eternally stalks you, and even though the presence of the creature may be gone, the fear is always there, haunting you in your nightmares.
Those are creepy.
Alright, now I'm scared.
No, don't be. I admit I'm what a lot of people, kids at my school, call me a horror addict. I'm the kid that at like 6th grade was reading Stephen King.
Oh, that's sterling.
What's that? What's that?
He's considered actually one of the very few masters of horror of all time.
What's the best horror movie?
Okay, what's the best horror movie in any of your opinions? And why?
Oh, The Shining. The Shining.
Why?
Because it's like, I think the idea of being in a hotel by yourself, and then like,
Oh, I don't. It's so
and then like Hanzo. Yeah. I think that idea of being in a huge space by yourself is insane. I guess.
So, a fear of open spaces.
Like, Okay, sure, yeah.
Okay, anybody else want to take the board?
But yeah.
Sure.
But yet it's also because it's an enclosed space. He can't go anywhere because they're snowed in. So I think that's what's creepy is it's the isolation. But I love the Shining. I don't like horror movies, but I love the Shining. So I'm excited.
Have you seen Friday the 13th?
Yes.
I watched that last night.
How'd you react to it? How'd you feel?
It was okay. I thought it was really unrealistic though, but
Well, sometimes the supernatural can be unrealistic, but
I like
what part of, did you ever feel afraid in any part of the movie?
it was like the most stressful part was like at the very end when they're all running through the tunnels. But you could predict what was going to happen because like someone died every second, so
Yeah,
it's
that's-
pretty predictable.
The-
Did you watch the news?
No,
Okay.
or what?
Yes?
I don't know.
Okay. Have you seen Paranormal Activity 3?
No, not yet. I've actually been hoping to.
Creepy.
Someone
Why
said
do
it
you-
was scary.
Why do you find it creepy?
I don't like ghosts. Ghosts freak me out. Just
Somebody
like in
goes
Insidious
Yes.
when like they're like trying to
I love that
scare
movie.
It's creepy. It's so good though.
Okay.
So like in Paranormal Activity, I was like watching something, and it's like I don't even know how it's like people believe it's possible because like a girl's being
It
like
is possible.
dragged all the way down the stairs, and it's just
Yeah,
like
that
it's
was
like
She
it's
tripped.
like no, that
Can
doesn't
I calm
actually
you down?
happen.
He actually has a question. Or
The last exorcism.
Oh,
it's
sorry.
okay. What did you find scary about it?
Like I just thought it was kind of creepy. And like, I guess apparently people are supposed to think this is on a big true fact, but it's kind of creepy to think about something like taking over your body like that.
So a loss of control.
Or the last exorcism.
Let me ask you something. How do you think horror movies connect to real life? I know this sounds actually kind of scary, actually kind of a bigger topic, but out of curiosity, why?
Depends on
Cause
Yes. See? Everyone's always afraid of something.
yes.
And that's what horror movies appeal to, whether it's a loss of control like in The Exorcism, like The Last Exorcism. It's a fear of a loss of control of your own self. Someone actually taking control of your own life. That can be a major fear actually of some people. And another one, can you guys have thought for maybe another horror movie?
Have you seen Paranormal State, like the show?
Crazy.
Seen a bit of it.
I love that show.
What was that?
The crazies.
What can you maybe connect that's a bit of a fear in there? So actually a bit of social remorse. So say not going against the crowd in maybe like high school or something and everyone seems against you. Yes? Huh?
she can go.
Okay.
I saw this movie called like Maze, and it's these people and they're like alone in a maze and they're being chased by this murderer and it's really creepy. So like I'm scared of like being like watched and like somebody wants to like kill you.
So stalked and necessarily felt threatened by your own life.
Yeah. Like I'm scared of like dark basements. Like that's creepy. I feel like
I'm
someone's like
scared.
down there.
I'm
like
scared to
waiting
go my
kill me.
basement.
So you're always afraid that maybe there's another presence. This is exactly what horror writers are so popular. Despite what most people think, there is an easy connection to make with them. Shall we say sometimes they take the extremities of situations that people fear of. And that's why Stephen King has always been long. Dark basements, or shall we say maybe being alone or in a closed manner. The Shining. Knowing that you're in this typical, shall we say, house labyrinth, but yet you can't escape and you're caught in here with something deadly. Okay?
Okay, so, I don't know, like, going along with, like, she said, like, something about a maze, like, yeah, I know she was talking about a movie, but, like, I'm kind of scared of those, like, in a way, because I'm always afraid that I'm never gonna find, like, a way out, and I'm always gonna, like, trapped, and then, also, I'm afraid of, like, I'm not claustrophobic, because I'm not really, I guess I kind of am, but I'm more afraid of, like, not being able to move at all, like, being, like, stuck, I don't know. It's weird.
This is, okay. You had a question?
Like Scream or Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm. Someone who's actually skilled enough or powerful enough to actually evade what you believe could be the only salvation, like the cops. In the end, they usually are always being evaded, and that's what scares a lot of people, is knowing that they can still continue, and a lot of times it's outside the power force of what you believe is the only capable force that's stopping them. Here.
I think the reason why horror movies are so scary is because they bring your like fears to reality.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's why it's so scary.
I think it's creepy when they like. I'm scared of like clowns and like when like little kids are like evil. It's like scary because they take something that's like innocent and like happy, and then they turn it evil and it's like possessed and freaky.
That's another example of what people are afraid of. How can here's another prime example of a movie I've seen. It's, forgive me for the language involved with this, but the title of it is called Drag Me to Hell.
Oh.
I've
seen that. Yeah. It's so good.
Yes, it's good, but it also plays on a lot of the fears of what happens when you're cursed. And also, another prime example is, how can you expect the face of evil to be something within like a child? Can you honestly expect to be haunted or put an end to a curse that you are being haunted by from like a child? Something so malicious. Horror authors live off of this. They either put the extremities or they put something in the least suspecting. They put the most evil force in the least suspecting ideas that you can ever find. Shall I say the face of a child, a cat even. All of these have been
Yeah, why is it that like cats are
Like black
Halloween?
cats.
well, black cats have been always related to witches and Wiccans and sorcery. That's why a lot of people are afraid of them.
And
I used to see my cat.
Mhm.
She escaped on Halloween.
I was just thinking that
Yes.
because for like
That's
that,
about something.
like I haven't seen War of the Worlds in a while, but when I was smaller, I thought that was like one of the scariest movies ever. I like Saw and Nightmare and all this stuff. I find that stuff kind of funny.
Yes, I admit with Saw, I do find it kind of funny as well. But you also got to look at it from another perspective. War of the Worlds, you found that as a child afraid, shall we say scary. War of the Worlds was actually just a more extremity of global war. Yeah,
It's like help is killing the mass death.
that's something to learn about. If we can actually learn to understand one another, we can actually avoid that fear that everyone has. You saw all the pointless killing, and does anybody ever want that? That's one way to look at it, and one reason why we need to maintain peace and be more understanding of everyone's culture. Okay?
I'm not like when I watch movies, I'm pretty like good at watching them. I'm just like scared about like what's happening next. Like I'm scared of the thought of like what could happen next. But like after it happens, like it's like I'm not really like that scared.
Yeah.
So you're more afraid of, you more try and predict and are afraid of what's to come than what you experience it. That's actually just a normal fear. Like when you're
Like in
in,
Criminal Minds.
like in a bad situation.
Yes.
God.
Oh my god.
I'm
Yeah.
addicted.
As
Oh,
a
I
prime
saw the
example,
one.
you're afraid. Sometimes in a bad situation, like if you're in trouble or something, you're always afraid of what the punishment is going to be,
Yeah.
or you're afraid of what's to come. But once it's fully developed, sometimes you're more at ease because you know it's not as bad as you thought it was.
Yeah, except for like in like Criminal Minds, like that scares me more than like scary movies because
Yeah,
like
same.
that's like situations that like could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems so real.
So-
It's like more realistic.
Yeah.
That's another way
The
horror
more
authors write.
realistic, like,
They
scares
write about stuff that's scary that can also be so.
Yeah, I
real.
saw that one.
I mean, for the serial killers and also, shall we say, horror authors or fanatics. So that's another thing that many authors, even like Stephen King, wrote about. He wrote about the extremities of what could still possibly happen in real life. Something that leaves a mark in your head saying, oh my gosh, this can really happen. Maybe not to this extreme, but it could happen. And that's what stays with us with horror for as long as we live. Because thinking, this could actually happen. I heard from you and
Okay, have you ever heard the movie called Buried?
Mm-hmm.
I would freak out me. Cause like it's enclosed space, like the sand.
Knowing that you can't move, or essentially as like one of Poe's writes about, He's written about a person being accidentally buried alive.
Oh gosh,
That's
Seems like
scary.
criminal minds.
Yeah, the guy who
Which
buries
one?
his, like the therapist who buries his, like people by their fears. That's scary.
Mm-hmm. Knowing someone has dominion over you of what your greatest weaknesses are.
Ooh. That episode creeped me out.
I don't know how many people have heard of this movie, but it's called Silent Hill. It's based off a video game.
Prime example. Take something. Have you ever watched the movie?
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Here's a little riddle for you, but I'll explain it. When is the villain not the villain?
When they're pretending to not be the villain.
Let me ask you something. In the prime example, who here has actually watched the movie Silent Hill? How do you feel about the little girl? Do you feel she was truly the villain throughout that entire story?
Oh, I thought she was a good person. Because isn't she like trying to get the girl?
The little young.
Yeah.
Exact. In most circumstances, yes, she's done a lot of bad things and made a town live in fear. But how did it all start? Everybody ostracized her. They literally made her feel alienated. They treated her like an outcast, like in the Salem witch trials, the Inquisition, where everyone was persecuting everyone of being a witch, and they treated her maliciously.
I seen the Blair Witch Project.
Yes.
It was okay. So it wasn't really creepy. If you guys have seen it, I don't know. But it wasn't really creepy while you're watching it. But then when after you watched it and you were like thinking about it, then it got kind of creepy.
Well, I'm not scared of Final Destination movies, but like I watch them all the time. But like, it's creepy how like they get like killed in like weird ways if they're doing normal things like on a roller coaster and stuff, and then it like breaks or like he's in the shower and like. I don't
Fear
even
of
know,
dying
it's
in an unorthodox manner.
Yeah.
I mean, it can put for some a paranoid who have a fear of death, they could stare at anything in this room and it could literally, as a result of their own demise. But does that mean we should let that fear control us? Just in your own opinion.
E.T. She's
scared of E.T.
terrified of E.T.
I don't know why.
It's
Yeah.
kind of funny.
About fear. Sometimes fear. Remember, I was Stephen King. There was actually a statement that I've always believed in. You don't have to explain fear. It's antithetical to its own method of horror. You don't have to explain a fear. It's just there, and that's what lives with us the longest time. For some, it's a fear of clowns. We don't know why, but we are afraid.
Final Destination.
Hold on a second. Hold on. You have a person talk.
Final Destination.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of creepy because like we don't really think about all the things around us that could actually end up killing us, but like if you look at different stuff, like you could trip and fall on something, and like it's kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Angels and Demons? I know it's not really like a horror movie, but
Well, it can actually be taken as a horror movie in perspective.
yeah.
But my question to you is, how so?
Because like just the whole thought of it, there's like this like, he's kind of like a serial killer, but like cause he's from a different religion almost, I would say, I guess. And he's like basically taking all these like popes that are gonna like that have a good chance of winning, and he's like killing them, and they keep like striving to get there, and they keep wanting to get there before they die and save them, but they always get there late except for the very last one. Yeah,
I've seen that.
and so they finally saved him in the water, which was, but I thought it was really creepy that this guy was like, he was all evil and he was all, it was kind of creepy.
How do you
And
define someone evil?
He wasn't, I wouldn't say he was evil because I felt bad for him afterwards because they like made him do it, and they kind of like these other guys set him up to do it, and then he got to his getaway car and then it blew up. So basically the whole time they were planning to kill him too. The guy who killed the Pope, they killed him, so I felt bad for him. And then like, but I also liked it because like there were like some surprises, like the one guy actually killed his dad or something, or his grandfather. It was kind of weird.
Okay, so I saw this movie. It's called It's Alive, and it was like about this like baby who like is like this demon and who like bites his
Oh.
mom, and it's like you never
Oh, yeah,
know.
Mother.
Like you're like this like
just like
little baby could like do that and like they like threw them in the trash can and tried to kill it. And they kept on coming back to them and like going like mental and crazy on them.
That's
Is he
creepy.
orphan?
Yes.
Orphan.
Okay. You asked?
Beyond
Hold on.
Oh my god.
Like the Terminator movies are not like scary or anything, but it's like knowing that like someone's chasing you and it's like impossible, it's almost impossible. It's like
Let me ask you something. With an insurmountable foe like they always kept fearing, what do you think it portrays in that movie? I can give you an example, but
you're always hiding.
it's more or less a connection that can be easily made with that is death. You can't always escape them, but you can learn to live with it. Death stops and waits for no man, and death never stops or tires. He merely just takes some time to catch up with you.
Have you seen The Unborn?
Yes,
Somebody
Oh,
wants to be
yeah.
born now.
that's another prime example.
That one is just pure
The
creepy.
part when
That's
the,
just
the
like-
part when the man
I
is,
couldn't
like,
even watch the whole
The
thing.
part when the man is like
We
crawling
didn't
on,
even
like,
watch the whole thing.
I only
Just,
watched like
like,
the first 15 minutes.
We
I was terrified.
That's another prime
when
example
man,
of
like, gets possessed, he's like walking on all fours and he looks like a demented like animal or something. And
The part that
it's
creeps
so
me out the
creepy.
most is like when they're in the bed. Like the
Oh my
kid like
God,
comes
I
out
know.
of the covers.
When the baby is being sculpted in her eye. That's
How do you think fear is delivered in throughout all? You've given so many great examples of movies, but let me ask you something. How is horror actually defined and given to a person? What makes you so afraid from like specific scenes? What happens to you?
just like the suspense and the creepiness and the
Like the
just
music
the
and the lighting, it's just like everything
and, like,
about it is just
yeah, the mood and the like the music and the like
not knowing it's coming, like jumping.
like just
oh,
like
when it like
yeah.
pops out with, like some
And then when you're watching the
Like,
movie,
what pops out of me?
Okay.
when you're watching the movie, I feel like I'm like in their world and like any of this stuff could like happen to me too. And like I always like all those little creepy noises that I hear, like I think it's like someone in the house, like whenever I'm like watching a movie, just I think the worst.
You ever watched the
Oh, I have such bad paranoia.
It's ridiculous. When I'm asleep and I like hear something with a little creak in like the ground, I'm like,
This is why I actually always had such a fascination with fear. To me, it's an art. It's an artist. The way you build up suspense to a specific scene to scare somebody. The way, even if it's just a slight positioning of lights and music, the build up to how it is made. I've never been a real fan of just the blood, gore, and guts and everything to scare somebody. Or as I like to define them, Hollywood horror. Basically, you put an obscene amount of guts and horror on something to actually scare somebody.
that doesn't even
Yeah,
I've
that's
always
what
loved-
Friday the
Scary
13th
part.
was.
It makes me cringe.
Yeah.
That's what's scary.
It makes me cringe, but it doesn't scare me like some of these movies like The Unborn. They don't scare you by an obscene amount of like blood, guts, and death. They scare you by feeling in weakness. They deliver away a sense of feeling that you cannot be something you want to be or be free.
I've seen the fourth kind.
Mhm.
Jeez,
And
you
I watched
see a lot of
that. I
movies.
watched that with Sophie and Charlotte, and we were all like curled up in a ball on the couch, and we were so scared.
Everything can be related to horror, despite even the most ridiculous things can be even a horror comedy.
What's your best movie recommendation for scary movies? Like the scariest one that you've seen? I want to watch a really scary one.
Oh gosh, at a time. It's actually everyone.
Can we
It's
turn
been
these in?
quite a pleasure actually all working with you.
You guys all did it, and then.
Okay, I want everyone to turn their phones in to the
Okay, I'll
summary,
take. Sure.
and you'll be ready for completion on them.
Sure.
And it's been an honor actually working and discussing with you,
Yep.
every single one of you.
Kids want to take kids, but I want to get you.
Unfortunately, yes, it's my last day here.
No!
No. Yeah, I need to get back and finish up on some stuff, but I'll definitely keep it possible coming here, maybe try and get through.
Thank you.
Are we getting coffee ready? No, not right now, but you guys maybe that is next. Unless you have it. Looks like get me through the class period.